All right. We're live in 3, 2, 1. Over to you, Todd.
Welcome back. We're back and we're still not scared of cheese. It's Naughty Boy Fight Picks. Hey, Matty.
G'day, mate. I've never been scared of cheese.
Nah, fuck no. That would be insane.
No.
We've been on a little hiatus. Things have been happening. Life comes at you fast. You had a big weekend away?
Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. I was. I was up in Eternal MMA up on the Gold Coast. We had
Yeah.
a couple, which is a really big promotion here in Australia. They're in 3 of the major states, and fingers crossed, hopefully in a 4th pretty soon. So yeah, we went up there. They had a UFC prospect, Shannon Ross, up there fighting a local bloke, Paul Loga. A really good fight, and but sensational undercard, of which 2 of our guys were part of. So got to go up there and coach one of them in absolute war, and then watch one of them put on a bit of a masterclass. It was a good weekend.
It was a real contrast between your guys' 2 fights. We ought to shout them out by name. Kahal and Tawny both fought brilliant fights, but absolutely completely different performances, and both amazing in entirely different ways.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, have you got headphones on over there, Uncle Todd?
No, would you like me to put some on?
Yeah, just getting a little bit of feedback at the moment. But I'll tell you what. I think those fights are going to be up on YouTube pretty soon.
Oh, great.
So yeah, maybe we could post a little link if someone wants to see a shit-eating wild man from Kerry County.
Okay. Yes, I think our international fans would want to hear us talk about some UFC.
Yeah, the UFC.
The UFC. We've been away for a minute and we've missed a few events. Lots of things have happened, but we'll just jump straight into this UFC on ESPN 2 card. I believe it's being held in Nashville. Nashville sounds like some place that really gets the imagination going, doesn't it?
I heard Nashville's real nice this time of year.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Like we've done for the past couple episodes, we've just taken to discussing the fights we want to discuss and not wasting our time on crap that we don't wish to talk about.
Yeah.
Or don't know too much about. We ain't got time these days to be researching every single fighter.
Yeah.
So we'll go up the card today, Matty, and we'll begin with, we've agreed upon the fights we both want to talk about pretty easily, and I think they stand out amongst this card. First fight we want to discuss, and I think it's the first fight of the main card actually, is Sadiq Yusuff versus Shaman Moraes.
Oh, he's a good-looking boy.
Oh, Shaman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like, remember the guy that went viral, the Prison Bay?
That is what. Yeah, he does look like him actually.
Yeah, heaps, man.
Go boy, go Shaman.
He really resembles him. And fuck, in his last fight, didn't he fight someone super handsome also?
Did he fight Arce? Was it?
Yeah,
late last year.
Yeah, 2 handsome boys.
Absolute bloodbath. It was.
It was all like Shaman Moraes is always in a bloodbath, and that makes this really exciting because he's up against a fucking powerful, crisp boxer in Sadiq Yusuff.
Great in bed and a whiz in the kitchen.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I've previously won money on Shaman, and I feel like I've got a pretty good read on this guy. I think he's too dissimilar from one Edson Barbosa Jr., who's fighting later on in the card. And he has a nice kickboxing game, but if you can get in his face and shut down the range, he likes to fight at kicking range. If you can shut that down, you can get him backing up. He, like Edson, needs to plant and then deliver heavy strikes. And I think Sadiq could be a problem for him in that regard in this fight.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, Shaman Moraes is a lot like Edson Barbosa in terms of, he stands really tall, he's up on his toes, feet close together, but does need that space. And in a lot of ways, he, he's kind of just waiting an opportunity to land a big shot. and a big hard shot and doesn't get a lot of volume in and thinking back to that Arce fight, now that you brought it up, that was like a real difference in that fight. I think Arce was kind of pushing the pressure more. Moraes did do the damage. I think he landed. It was an elbow that bust Arce up and turned it into a bloodbath. But I think relying on that power against Sadiq Youssef might bring him into some trouble. I think Sadiq Youssef might even hit harder. Being cage side at the Adelaide card where Sadiq beat the shit out of Suman from ATT, it just sounded like firecrackers going off. And bro, he's hitting so hard. And while he hits harder, I think, and certainly hits with more volume, Youssef that is, I reckon he's probably also the more technical in terms of combos and setups. Yeah, I think Moraes, if he's gonna take this, he's gonna need to be on the outside kicking the shit out of Sadiq to take some of that power out of his arms. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I believe so, and I'm favouring Sadiq here. I just think with the power and the crisp boxing and the pressure, I think he can take it to nice. And I suspect Sadiq might have a bit more durability too. Shaman's tough, and we've seen him in some scraps, and he's hung in there. But I don't think he's been in there with someone with power like Sadiq has. And but definitely a big step up in competition for Sadiq. So this is a good test for him to see if he is at this level. I suspect he is, and I suspect him to probably get a finish.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Moraes will be stepping back out of the pocket, and Sadiq might find him with his hands. I certainly think that Sadiq's power will kind of negate some of Moraes' power as we kind of get out of the first couple minutes of the fight. I'd go something like a second round TKO or something for Sadiq, probably with his hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also, and probably not a bad fight to bet inside the distance as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, so moving on, I think we're skipping about on the main card here and going straight to Michelle Waterson versus Carolina Kowalkiewicz.
You're not scared of cheese?
No way. Michelle Waterson has looked improved in recent times, and Carolina is coming off that devastating knockout loss to Jessica Andrade. What are you thinking, Matty?
Yeah, I reckon it's a bit of a mismatch, to be honest. I think in terms of stylistically, but I think also in terms of their ability and where they kind of stack up in terms of the top 10. Carolina, you got to remember she's beaten Rose, so she's beaten Yunus. And where she's kind of come unstuck in the past has been against, the big strong girls that can throw around.
Yeah.
Or, the likes of Johanna, who's just kind of better at her brand of striking, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm favouring Carolina here. I think better technique, more proven. She has only lost to those opponents that you mentioned. But I wasn't going to bet this fight. I was not confident enough to bet it because I know I'd got the heebie-jeebies because I thought Felice Herrig was going to beat Waterson, and I think I bet Herrig. And then Waterson really surprised me in that fight. And I'm mentioning those improvements. I wonder if we see an improved version of her again. In saying that, I'm favouring Carolina to outpoint Michelle Waterson over 3 rounds.
I just feel that when Carolina comes unstuck, it's when she gets bullied, and I don't think Michelle Waterson is someone who can do that to her. I think it's probably going to be vice versa. I see Carolina coming forward and winning that straight line as she does, straight down the pipe, with a lot of volume. And I think in saying that, Waterson then would need to use a lot of footwork and play around on the outside, kick a ton, and not get hit. I don't see that happening for me. improvements taken into consideration, but yeah, I think Carolina's too good. But I'm thinking decision. I don't think she can put Michelle away.
Yeah.
Not in 3 rounds.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Back in Carolina by decision, and this fight, something that came to mind today when I was thinking of it is both these women seem like real nice people,
Yeah.
and all their media, they just seem like really, really nice, genuine people, and it'll be sad to see one of them lose.
No one looks sweeter than Carolina prior to Bruce Buffer announcing her fight. Like she's kind of leaning with her legs crossed and like her hands behind her back. Like she just did a fart and doesn't want anyone to notice.
Fuck, that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, it's so great. Moving right along, next fight of the night, we have a guy that makes our coffees down in Footscray, Josh Emmett versus Michael Johnson. And interesting matchup. Emmett, like Carolina, is returning following a fucking devastating knockout at the hands of Jeremy Stevens.
While he was grounded, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it was. He got dropped and then he ate some fucking just hellacious shots whilst on the ground and knocked out. Josh Emmett, have you read the list of injuries he sustained?
Nah.
There's a litany of facial injuries relating to the bone structure of his whole face. That it's like there's like 8 or 9 injuries in the list I saw.
Oh shit! I bet half of them are orbital fractures because he's got pretty pronounced, eye sockets. That bro.
Yeah, he does. And he's got he was looking pretty good prior to that. He had wins over Ranches and Ricardo Lamas. And yeah, just real difficult to tell where either of these guys are going to be at, because Michael Johnson's been kind of, I don't know, up and down, and his last fight was a win over Artem Lobov, and Lobov does have a way of people making people not look great in their wins against him. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm not sure where I'm going on this one, Matty. What are you thinking? I'm favouring Johnson. I think the hand speed might come into play here, and his ability to counter. Emmett fights that kind of very atypical alpha male style. So I'm slightly favouring Johnson, but I'm just unsure where either of these guys are going to be at step to the octagon this weekend.
Well, I reckon there's a couple of things at play here. I reckon Josh Emmett can stand with Michael Johnson. I don't reckon that will be his go-to here, though. I reckon he probably will look to get it to the ground. Maybe not straight away, but eventually. Emmett's got really good wrestling, which isn't unusual for alpha male guys. And he uses really nice footwork, especially on the outside, and uses a lot of feints and cuts angles to set up his entries. And against a southpaw, that can, if you've got good wrestling, that can offer you the front leg from orthodox to southpaw. So I think he can mix it up on the hands, although there's no doubt that Michael Johnson has got the faster hands. Josh Emmett's pretty resilient, or at least he used to be until he got beat up on the ground by Stevens, so we'll see. But I think there's the matter of which Michael Johnson shows up.
Totally.
In Josh Emmett, you get consistency, as I would see it. You kind of know what you're getting with Josh Emmett. He shows up and he does the Josh Emmett thing. Michael Johnson isn't that kind of guy. He's and he's been around forever, it would seem. And there's probably, I think his record probably suggests how inconsistent he is. And he's beat some really good guys, and then he's lost fights that he should have won. Hasn't got the greatest, isn't the greatest when he's put on his back. And, I kind of actually reckon Josh can get it there. And if he does, I reckon he might not get the submission, but he can certainly grind it out. And there might be an opportunity for a submission as the fight goes on a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and Michael Johnson, you're talking about a guy that goes out and wins a unanimous decision against Edson Barbosa,
That's right.
and then in his next fight goes out and loses to Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
Couple fights later, KO's Dustin Poirier in the first round.
Yeah, man, he's got fast. He's got really quick hands, and
Yeah,
if you let Michael Johnson go to your body early, which is what he does, he'll come out and he'll throw long straight punches to Josh Emmett's body. That's how he sets up. That's how he brings your hands down and feints it, and then plants that left hand. If you let him do that and you stand in front of him, given an option to do that, then he'll do it. But when you're chopping angles on the outside and being clever with your entries, as Josh Emmett is, it makes that a bit more difficult. So that's why I'm kind of leaning in favour of Josh Emmett here.
yeah. I'm gonna go the other way. And what I'm banking on Johnson landing that left hand and Emmett's face not being up to that punishment anymore. Like Johnson is powerful, man, and he's still got it. Like he wobbled Gaethje in their fight. I mean, everyone wobbles Gaethje, but
this is a featherweight Michael Johnson.
Yeah. So this is at 45, and he has looked a little different there. But yeah, I'm still picking him. I'm picking Johnson to get a KO finish, maybe in the second or third. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Johnson will either knock Emmett out in the first round, or Josh Emmett will sub him late in the fight, grind him out in decision on the ground. But if this goes out of the first round, I reckon Josh Emmett's going to be spending a little bit of time on top. So I might just say Josh Emmett submission third round.
Alright, excellent. Next fight of the night we have another interesting one. I really like this main card. There ain't much on the prelims, but this main card's cool.
Yeah.
Dave, I forget which podcast I listen to where they've nicknamed him themselves, and they call him Dave the Executive Branch. But I really like it.
Yeah.
Versus Jack the Joker Hermansson. David Branch what organization was he a champion in?
Fuck.
Fighting or something.
Yeah. World Series of Fighting, maybe?
So he was a champion in another organization. Came over to UFC. I think he got a win, and then his next fight he got Rockhold and was beating Rockhold until he lost that fight. Since then, really nice early KO over Thiago Santos. And then in his last fight, another fight he was winning until he lost against Jared Cannonier. So I'm going up against Jack Hermansson, who has a pretty good record if I recall correctly. Yeah, it was World Series of Fighting. Dave the Executive
he was in Bellator and stuff too, way back from memory.
Yeah, that's right. Hermansson in recent times, he has a loss to Thiago Santos, and then he's had wins over Talis Ladies and Gerald Meerschaert. Interesting contrast in styles here. Hermansson jumps around all over the show, seems to have pretty good gas tank. Branch strikes me as kind of an anxious guy and an anxious fighter. But technically very good, very well-rounded, and I really like his counter-punching, and I feel like that's going to come into play in this fight. Like I was saying to you the other day, I feel like this is going to look like a shitty version of Cody Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz. Branch being shitty Garbrandt and Hermansson being shitty Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Like Jack Hermansson, I'll be honest, I haven't researched him much, but the fights I have seen of his, I remember him just having this insane top game on the ground and just beating people to pulp. Yeah. And once he gets on top, he does bad things to people.
Yeah.
I can't remember too much of his striking other than his movement, which was kind of erratic at sometimes in terms of, not in terms of, you know that guy who's like supposed to be the worst boxer ever, and there's like they do the rounds of him and he gets knocked unconscious. He comes out looking like he's got a car battery up his bum.
Oh, no.
Not that kind of erratic, but erratic in terms of, you know, moving his feet without purpose, and it you know, a lot of energy expended. Branch has got really good boxing. Like his hands are really nice and long. But you know, I think where there'll be a massive difference here is Brunch's capacity to fuck people up on the ground. Like he is elite level grappler. So I think as long as he can stay up from underneath Jack Hermansson, then he'll certainly have the edge in anywhere else the fight goes. But you know, David Branch is 37 years old, and you know how who knows how, and he's been in the game a long time. You know, if Hermansson can drag him down and beat him up a little bit, and David Branch gets back up, what's his gas tank going to look like moving forward? He looks in pretty good shape, but
yeah, I definitely, if this turns into a bit of a grappling war, I do favour Hermansson to be the fresher fighter in later rounds. Still don't. It still doesn't mean he wins for my mind, because I think Branch is very experienced and a wily veteran at this stage. So he's still got some stuff up his sleeve. But yeah, I think Hermansson would do best to put the grind on Branch, and Branch would do best to get Hermansson out of there early, which I can. And I think Branch is a really good grappler as well, and that's the fights versus Rockhold and the last one versus Jared Cannonier. He was grappling those guys and wearing on them and winning those fights in that manner. So yeah, I'm liking him to get it done here. I don't think Hermansson's done some good stuff in the UFC, but he doesn't have a win on his record that looks really good. Yep. And Branch has shown that he can compete, at the very least, compete with some of the elite guys. Like that win over Thiago Santos, I like that, particularly for this fight, a guy with a pretty wild style, and Branch just kind of stayed calm and lined him up and landed that big counter shot.
Yeah.
And I could see that happening to Jack Hermansson here. So I'm favouring Branch, and I'm thinking it's not going to be a knockout, but Branch definitely got subs in his repertoire as well. So.
Oh man, Branch is very good on the ground.
Yeah. I'm thinking Branch hurts him on the feet and gets it to the ground and locks up a sub.
Yeah, I reckon Branch is going to submit him in the second round. The only place I see this going bad for Branch is if he ends up on his back with Jack Hermansson on top. I reckon Hermansson will do bad things to him there. But I'm going Branch second round submission.
Yeah. I'm just relying here on Branch's chin holding up and him showing some durability. So here's hoping. I'm thinking about putting a little play on Branch as well. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just dangle it out there.
Yeah, well, the line's moving and he's becoming a bigger underdog as the week goes on. So
yeah. Hey, did you hear about the explosion down at the cheese factory?
No, was it terrifying?
Well, there's debris everywhere.
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. You ran off your list of cheese jokes at Christmas time, didn't you?
Probably. I was pretty pissed.
I was trying to remember where I'd heard that before.
Yeah.
This brings us to the main event of the night. It feels like it's been a long, I don't know, a couple months in UFC world of events that have been. There's been great fights but not big fights or ones that we've been super gassed about. But this one definitely brings that. Got Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barbosa Jr. I like to add in the Jr.
You love to add in the Jr. I've noticed that about you. Sorry, that's my phone getting a little message. Yeah, you love to add in the Jr.
I do, and I really like both of these fighters, but I fucking love Justin Gaethje.
Go the boy. You do love Justin Gaethje. You'd make sweet love to that boy if you could.
Well, I loved him heaps before I heard him say that when he quits fighting, he wants to be a social worker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like he won't have any brain cells left.
Nah, I'm not sure how his social work career is going to go, but he does seem like a lovely guy. And yeah, maybe the kids will respect him because he's fucking tough cunt.
Go boy. Uncle Justin. These guys both like to stand and smash other people.
Yeah, someone's leg is going to be sore, or probably two guys' legs are going to be sore.
I'd say so. And both of them have massive hearts and won't quit.
Yeah.
You got to, how many, has Edson Barbosa, Edmund Barbosa's finished, when he's been finished, the refs need to jump in there and save him from death.
Yeah.
And Gaethje, well, we all know what happened against him in Poirier. So, on account of both of those things, this is going to be excellent. Gaethje has got wrestling up his sleeve, but you can count on him not employing it in this fight.
Yeah.
Barbosa's got jiu-jitsu up his sleeve, hasn't got much wrestling, but, so I think we can forget about that and just talk about this like a striking fight.
Yeah, it's funny with Gaethje fights. You kind of have to mention that he has a decorated wrestling record. Then you also have to mention, but he won't use it. So
yeah.
It's like this moot point that you have to bring up, though, anyhow, just in case he decides to wrestle someone.
Yeah. So, but like, on account of all of that stuff, it's fairly even, but I think when you start talking about stylistically, Justin Gaethje is a pressure fighter who likes to close the space, play high guard, kick low, and punch high, whereas Barbosa likes to have a bit of space, and when he is pressured, he tends to move backwards straight, and can get caught there. And I think there's danger in that for Barbosa moving straight back, as his chin tends to pop up, and that's when Gaethje tends to land, his overhands, aka Vic.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Edson's got these great weapons for someone who's trying to come forward and close on him, like his knees, like elbows. Yeah, so it's really intriguing.
Yeah, totally. And another thing you always have to mention about Justin Gaethje is he prefers to defend punches with his forehead. I think stylistically on paper, this doesn't look great for Edson, just because of Gaethje's ability to pressure and shut down the range. Edson likes to set and throw those powerful kicks, the fast as fuck and dangerous as fuck. But you have seen him, and it's particularly, so I keep thinking of the Kevin Lee fight, and obviously Kevin Lee had the threat of the takedown, but we now know, or we perhaps knew before, that Kevin Lee isn't a great striker, but Kevin Lee was out-striking Barbosa in the striking exchanges because of the pressure he was putting on him.
Yeah.
And I think Gaethje is just so much better at pressure striking than Kevin Lee is. But the threat of the takedown isn't there, most probably. So that could alter things a little bit. But yeah, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and Justin Gaethje is a betting underdog. and I'm picking him, and I love him. So yeah, I'm picking Gaethje, and man, Barbosa's durable. So I'm thinking, I don't know if we'll get to the fourth, but I think we might get to the third. And Gaethje will get a TKO KO stoppage.
I was thinking Gaethje might finish him. I had down here TKO in the fourth round for the same reasons. I reckon Edson's going to take a hell of a lot of punishment, and he's going to be kicking hard. I think he's going to be trapping Justin's hands early as he comes forward and making him wear some damage. So I think it will take a little bit of time for Justin to break Edson down, but I think he'll get there.
Yeah. I think he gets it done. So the betting line really confused me here because at best I think it should be a pick'em fight. But if you're going to give an edge to anyone, just because for the stylistic reasons we mentioned, I believe Gaethje has the advantage, but the bookies don't believe so. So, and I just got to take this opportunity to mention that Justin Gaethje was a betting underdog against James Vick. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Wow.
Here we go.
The bookies.
Yeah, here we go again. Gaethje, my cash cow.
Go boy.
Best betting night ever. That Gaethje versus Vick one. Alright, oh fuck, I haven't even looked at Fuck Your Face Up this week, Matt. You had a look at these faces?
Well, I know Paul Craig's on there.
Oh yeah, he's got a head on him.
Yeah. Fuck. Let's talk about Paul Craig. Fuck that guy. I can't stand Paul Craig. Ever since Stupid Face, ever since he fought Jimmy Crute, he's been pissing me off. Always showing up with that stupid beard.
Yeah, and he does the Braveheart paint during the walkout.
Oh, he does too. He kind of looks like the kind of guy that would try and sell his mum beard oil that he makes himself from like fucking cloves and guarana powder or something.
Yeah, I don't like fucking beard oil salesmen.
He looks like. Did you ever go to underage nightclubs when you were underage, or did you just go to normal ones?
I went to adult ones.
Yeah, I went to a couple. And he kind of looks like the type of guys that used to bounce at those things. You know what I mean?
So like low rent bouncers.
Low rent bouncers at underage nightclubs, and give the 16-year-old fellas a bit of a roughen up when he catches them smoking a cigar.
Oh yeah. I feel you.
You know what else? We've got someone got us a subscription to National Geographic today. Like recently, and one arrived, and I was flicking through it, and there was some jungle titties in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jungle titties, but you had to like really skim through it to find them, and I wasn't. I was just browsing.
Okay.
But I reckon Paul Craig looks like the kind of guy that would flick through a National Geographic specifically to find jungle titties.
Yeah, he does look like that kind of creep.
Yeah.
So fuck your face up, Paul Craig.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
It does just make me want to mention I am interested in seeing his opponent perform.
Oh, is that guy whose head looks like a microphone?
Massive Nigerian dude. So, 2 Nigerian guys on this card, and of course, Kamaru taking the title and Israel fighting for one in a couple of weeks' time. Mm-hmm. It could be a big beginning of the year for Nigerian UFC fighters.
I hope Paul Craig gets knocked out. He is a big man, that guy's fighting.
He's huge, and I had a look at some of his fights today, right? And I watched one where he was like 3-0, and they're like, oh, he's a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. And he did wrestle this guy to a kind of ground and pound victory. But then in a couple fights later, or maybe his next fight in Contender Series, he was fighting like a kickboxer and looked quite good, and he's 6'5". So interested to see how he performs. Hopefully he fucking dispatches Paul Beard Oil Craig real quickly.
There's some good fights on the undercard. I was surprised to see Ross Pearson's back in the mix.
Yeah, Ross Pearson up against, who's he got? Desmond Green?
Desi Green.
Yeah, I think Desmond Green decisions everyone he fights when he wins, so I feel like that's a decision to Desmond Green. But
nice to see Ross back though. I like watching him fight.
Yeah, same. I really like his kind of loopy hooking style. And he could have a shot against Green, because Green does like he stands really tall and has his head way up in the air. And
Pearson likes to catch people with his uppercut as well.
Yeah. So it could be interesting, but...
And then we've got, on the preliminary card, there's Ray Borg on the early prelims.
Yeah, he just got a late replacement opponent, so some champion from LFA or something.
Okay. Well, that's a great way to start the thing.
Yeah, I've seen people speaking highly of this guy too. I know nothing about him, but people are
What
saying,
do we got here? Kyler Phillips.
yeah, people are saying he's good. So
Okay,
we shall see.
go son.
With that, I'm just going to quickly run over my bets I got this week. So I haven't played it yet, but I'm thinking about a couple units on Branch. I got 5 units on Justin Gaethje. He's paying $2.37. Insane. And then I got 5 units on Enrique Barzola to beat Kevin Aguilar. And then I've got Gaethje and Sadiq Yusuf parlay together, 2 units on that. That's it so far. I'll probably add a couple more during the week. Yeah.
What about the Paul Craig one? You're not going there with a bet?
Nah, I was thinking about it, but I might put him in a parlay. I'll see, but he's very inexperienced, and yeah, I'm not super sure about that one, but I do fancy him. And I like, attractive sort of way. I find the guy attractive.
I find the guy attractive.
Yeah, I'll find a guy attractive. Fuck it. I got nothing better to do. Do you want to discuss some news, Matt?
Yeah, there's a little bit in the news, eh?
Yeah, so
old McConnor in there again.
Yeah, old Colin. So it started with the retirement tweet, which we've heard before, if you remember. I think it was when he got pulled from the UFC 200 for not turning up for the press conference.
Naughty Boy Fight Picks got the exclusive on that, the scoop, first to break the news.
We did.
Yeah.
So he's done this before, and at first I was like, okay, this is negotiating shit, and then the news broke about the allegations of a sexual assault back in Ireland, which has been doing the rounds on the internet for a long time, and there's a lot of information there which you can choose to believe or not, but there's some pretty damning stuff that's been floating around for a while. But New York Times broke the silence on who the Irish sports person was and named Conor McGregor, and now it seems like those two things are probably linked, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was going back to January, so it's kind of been floating around since January. I understand that the laws that they have over in Ireland and much of Europe are quite different to what we have here in terms of judicial process, and how someone can be arrested but not charged, which is quite different here. So I'm not too sure what that means, or whether being arrested just means you're providing a statement. But I guess with Conor, with there's smoke, there's fire, eh? And it was such a short and sweet retirement statement. It kind of felt like someone had tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, buddy, do you mind just doing this?"
Yeah.
At first, we talking this morning. Was it leverage to try and kind of get a fight that he wanted, or was it about money? But then this came out shortly after, so there you go.
It still could be that. He was on Jimmy Fallon the night before, talking about how he wants to fight in July. So I definitely don't believe the retirement aspect, and there's a few things you can link into it. But like as you're saying, it's a smoky fire, and for some time now, I've been just thinking to myself and saying it where possible that I feel like Conor McGregor, if he wasn't before, has definitely turned into a real piece of shit.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, that this whole all these little publicity stunts could be opportunities just to further promote his whiskey. Who knows? Like he even took an opportunity in his retirement statement to have a little plug.
Yeah, I'm talking about pina coladas. He knows you don't make those with whiskey, right?
Yeah, they don't have whiskey in them.
So an interesting thing I heard someone mention about those laws in Ireland, about not naming people until they're actually convicted. Apparently, what I heard was it's only around sexual crimes, and
you want to know who was behind the implementation of those laws in the very Catholic island?
Oh wow,
Yeah,
far out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's protection for sex offenders, and apparently there was like at least a very strong push from the Catholic Church to bring those laws into being.
Yeah. Shout out to the Catholic school that wanted me and you to cover up tattoos before we go in and talk to their kids.
Yeah, so wild. Welcome to 2019. So, yeah, I remember the first McGregor retirement tweet, and it was all like, "Oh man, like, no way, this could be over." And now it's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I don't. Fuck, he's always got to be in the news, this guy, you know?
Yeah, the sport don't need this dude.
No.
Moving on to more shitty MMA news. The UFC have booked Greg Hardy in another co-main event, and his opponent is some guy, Dimitri someone. I saw him singing on Twitter today, and he was doing
Any good?
Oh, he's an amazing singer. Maybe he should have done that instead of fighting, because he had a UFC contract a while ago. He lost 2 straight fights, got dropped, and now he's back to being a co-main event.
I had a sneaky look at his record.
Yeah.
So 9-2, 9-2, 0-2 in the UFC, and that guy he lost to in his last UFC is that guy Cyril. He's Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, got TKO'd by him. But I guess one thing that makes this a tiny bit intriguing is I want to see Greg Hardy get a hiding.
And he sucks.
And he sucks.
Yeah.
And this guy has been eating steroids ever since he got kicked out of the UFC. He's also only ever been out of the first round once in 11 fights, and that's when he lost and got rear naked choked. But in all of his other fights, he's either knocked someone out or he's submitted them, and he's got a pretty interesting smorgasbord of submissions there too. He likes the Kimura. So the only thing that intrigues me is that we could see Greg Hardy get fucking beat up, which I want to see. I don't want to see Greg Hardy just get fed some other fucking piece of shit.
As much as I'd love to just completely boycott Greg Hardy in the UFC, I've got to watch his fights because I've got to see him get beat.
Yeah.
Embarrassingly. And it'd probably be pretty safe to say if he gets embarrassed in this one, he might be a goner.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Hey, just quickly, what kind of cheese do you use to disguise a horse?
Disguise a horse?
Yeah.
I'm unsure.
I'll tell you. Mascarpone.
I wish you were there when I was setting up the cheese board at Regan's wedding.
Oh, dang. I don't think I could have helped myself.
You could have really gone off.
Mm.
Last bit of news, I didn't put it in our notes for today, Matt, but I just remembered afterwards.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah, sorry to spring this on you. But we needed some light news after those the 2 piece of shit guy news.
You piece of shit.
Did you see Dan Hooker and the rapper Wale going out
shit.
on Twitter?
So who won that exchange?
Well, I'm gonna say Dan Hooker because Wale said that Dan Hooker wouldn't land a punch on him, which I'm surely he's not dumb enough to think that he could fist fight Dan Hooker and Dan Hooker not land on him. So I think he's talking about his security, which means he's taking an hour if you're like being a tough guy and saying, yeah, security.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But go Dan Hooker, how the fuck did that happen? How did Dan Hooker end up getting into internet beef with Wale? Like, those dudes couldn't be further removed in terms of their circumstance and geographically and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Just Dan Hooker's the last guy you'd expect to be beefing with rappers, eh?
Yeah. So, like, he only listens to David Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I loved about this whole thing. But it started because Wale did this real lame tweet at Israel, and he was like, "We need to do a thing where I talk heaps of shit, and then you put hands on everyone." And I was like, huh?
What?
And Dan Hooker was just like, what is a wale? And then it all
That's
started.
how little he knows about rap music.
Yeah, well,
I'm
man,
running.
I feel like by this point you could know heaps about rap music and not know who Wale is, and sort of him in, I don't know how long.
That's true.
All right, that brings us to the final segment for this week. Our naughtiest boy of the week. Before we award it, I do want to quickly mention Marlon Cheeto Vera. Did you see his post-fight interview last week?
I think so.
Yeah, because
I wasn't in great shape.
he won that fight against Frankie Steins and finished it with some hammer fist to the back of the head, and then when asked about it, was just completely unapologetic and kind of admitted that he'd thrown strikes to the back of the head and that he didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, at least pretend that they were accidental.
Yeah. Or that they never happened.
Yeah, but since we've been out of the loop, we kind of got to mention, and that was a few weeks ago, and that was Jorge Masvidal with the 3-piece and the soda to Leon Edwards backstage after he had just knocked out Darren Till.
It was one of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best little quotes of all time. How many people do you reckon have tried to start a little t-shirt business out of that?
Oh man, for sure. Like Derek Lewis said, my balls was hot, and that you see that on t-shirts all the time.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see all the 3-piece and the soda merch.
Oh man, that's so decent. It's a nice little number. That's I got kind of inspired off that fight, and I went back and watched a whole buttload of Masvidal street fights.
Yeah,
I watched undercards.
Yeah, I watched some as well. He's young as fuck, man, and he was like, fuck, he had nice hands back then.
3-piece and a soda. Uncle Todd.
Right?
Bloody lost you in the woods there, mate.
Oh, fuck, I'm back. But yeah, Masvidal had quite a week in London. Turns up looking like fucking Jesus. Knocks out Darren Till, and then just pieces up Leon Edwards a little bit backstage.
Someone changed his record almost instantly on Wikipedia to having a first round KO win over Leon Edwards.
That's so good. Shout out to George. It's good to have him back.
Shot George, my sweet boy.
Alright, so that about does us for this week. We'll be back when we're back. Oh, I guess we got to do a big show for the next card, right?
Yeah, I think we need to film that one, my friend.
Yep. We'll get together. We'll be back on film. You can see how what has transpired with us physically. We're much more handsome than before.
I've got fat. Todd's got reverse fat.
Yeah, so we'll have to change seats. Yeah, we'll be back with a 236 or 236 preview show. That's a big one. Really excited about that. And yeah, we may even get in a recap this week. We'll see what happens. But thank you for joining us again. It's good to be back. Hit us in the comments. Ask some shit. We can fucking use our infinite wisdom to holler back.
Oh, there's so much wisdom.
It's infinite, like eternal MMA.
Alright, Todd, bye.
Later.